Rowdies in Memphis yesterday didn't cause the Mississippi River to rise, but tensions are on the rise as Memphis 901 FC and the Tampa Bay Rowdies have an Eastern Conference semifinal matchup, and it's coming up next. Everyone. A match that was supposed to take place last night was postponed because of heavy rains. Tim Van Horn, along with Peter Edmiston, live at AutoZone Park Eastern Conference semifinal. Memphis 901 FC, an historic first-ever playoff win, looking to establish a pedigree, taking on the Tampa Bay Rowdies, who have long had a pedigree in the USL Championship.
Yeah, without a doubt, Tim. It's kind of a matchup of the newcomer against the veteran, but it's a matchup that happened to be taking place here in Memphis because of 1 point in the regular season. 1 point, and that tells you how much a draw or a win or something like that can matter a whole lot. An awfully big crowd expected here, and a lot of fun expected as Memphis and Tampa Bay matchup.
Here's how they got here, and here's where they're going to be going. Here's a look at the bracket. Eastern Conference, and Memphis 901 FC vanquishing Detroit City 3-1 earlier in the first round, and then, of course, Tampa Bay also taking care of business against the Miami FC. And the winner today takes on a Louisville City who almost got upset last night.
Yeah, penalties, and they survive 5-3 in penalties, so they will host whoever wins this matchup. And, of course, this matchup going to come down to couple key players for each side that are playing extremely well.
So many weapons for Tampa Bay Rowdies. Let's talk about Leo Fernandez first for the visiting Rowdies.
Yeah, Leo Fernandez, one of the longest standing members of the Rowdies, has been with them since they were back in USL League One, but really broke out this year. 19 goals, 9 assists, has been all over the place, has been known as a great passer and distributor, but has added goals to his game in this season, and it's been much needed for Tampa Bay. Was a little bit quiet in the matchup in the quarterfinals against Miami, but I would expect a big game from him if Tampa Bay is going to win this afternoon.
Fernandez with 19-9, 22-6, not too bad for the young man that came from Atlanta United too, and we're talking about Philip Goodrum.
Well, Philip Goodrum, and again, both of them with 28 goals and assists between them, and Goodrum a little bit more of a pure classic finisher, and you saw that in the matchup last week when he was able to get that poacher's goal at the very end of the match to make it 3-1. Goodrum has been able to score in a number of different ways all season long. His ability to be physical, to draw fouls, to work hard, that's been key for Memphis 901 FC, and they'll need to do it again this afternoon.
They're going to need magic from both of them, and that is coming up next. It's Memphis 901 FC hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies in an Eastern Conference semifinal. That's coming up next.
I walked into Chick-fil-A completely outnumbered. My husband was away at military leadership training, and the kids were doing this. Miss Carol brought me water, something to eat, and then before I knew it, she was tying Margot's shoes up and carrying her out to the car.
It always makes me feel good if that helps somebody.
I went in the next day because I just wanted to make sure she knew how much I appreciated her help.
I'm just so glad there was somebody there when she really needed it.
That's gonna go on my refrigerator.
I know Memphis in the Mid-South. In my 40-plus years at Action News 5, I've covered it all. And that helps me take action for you when you need it most.
Watch Joe Birch, weeknights, only on Action News 5. We're a city with soul, grit and grind. From sunup to sundown, with every action you take, you make Memphis, Memphis. And we're here every step of the way, taking action for you.
It means we've got your back.
Telling your stories, celebrating your community,
watching out for your family,
and finding solutions to your problems.
It's what we do. Action News 5, taking action for you.
My first love? Sports. You name it, I've played it or covered it for more than 40 years. There's nothing like highlighting hometown teams every night.
Jarvis Greer, taking action for you, only on Action News 5. We're a city with soul, grit and grind. From sunup to sundown, with every action you take, you make Memphis, Memphis. And we're here every step of the way, taking action for you.
It means we've got your back.
telling your stories, celebrating your community.
Watching out for your family.
And finding solutions to your problems.
It's what we do. Action News 5. Taking action for you.
Welcome back to AutoZone Park in Memphis, Tennessee. It is an Eastern Conference semifinal. Memphis 901 FC hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Tim Van Horn and Peter Edmiston. Let's take a look at the lineups this afternoon. One significant change for 901 FC. Borchek out and Fernando is in.
Yeah, it's a lineup that looks very similar to the lineups that we've seen. It'll be interesting to see how Derek Dotson plays. Somebody who can play up front or play all the way at the right back. And I think Ben Pierman can shift that as things go in this game.
And here's the Memphis Miracle Man, Ben Pierman, in his second full season as head coach of Memphis 901 FC. Let's take a look at the Tampa Bay Rowdies and one significant change for them as well this afternoon.
Yeah, only one change from last week for a pretty settled side. But, this is an interesting group. And Tampa Bay is led, of course, we mentioned by Leo Fernandez and Guinzotti is the two guys up front that are really going to get most of the attention here.
And look for Sebastian Dalgard and, of course, Jake LaCava behind them and supporting with Hilton and Nicky Law. We are underway in Memphis, the Eastern Conference semifinal, and Memphis 901 FC in the blue kits going left to right, and Tampa in the white. A little bit of a breeze, and it's pushing toward really the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. And you see goalkeeper Phil Brino there, a couple of clean sheets on the season, and he corrals it in. Very, very black and white TV friendly today in the goalkeeper kit.
It is, although it's interesting that he's got the all-black kit, and 901 FC has a majority black kit, so I'm just kind of curious if there's any clash issues that might happen there. For 901 FC, again, you got to take what you did at the end of the match last week and extend that here. There was a lull in that match against Detroit City where they found themselves in a bit of trouble, but if they play the way they did in the first half and towards the end of the second half, they're going to be just fine in this matchup. But Tampa Bay, very experienced group with a lot of talent, and they're going to assert themselves early in this match. If you look at these two matches, but the matches between these two teams, the two that have played this year, you've seen 3 goals in the first 15 minutes combined. So these two teams score early against each other, and they score early typically. So don't look away.
Memphis 901 FC, you see Patrick Segrist there. He's part of those 2 wing backs that will push forward today along with Jeremy Kelly. Here's Reese Buckmaster looking for Jeremy Kelly. Luis Fernando pass was undercooked, but Memphis still able to corral it. And there's Luis Fernando. Here's a look at him. He can be electric at times. There's a step over. He'll take it down the wing and pull it back for Kisiedu, who has a little bit of electricity in his own right, Peter.
Yeah, you've got some skillful players for sure in the 901 attack. And I'm interested to see what happens with Derek Dotson. You see him lining up, and he's kind of all the way pushed up a bit as he looks like he's going to be taking more of a forward position and playing almost as a right midfielder rather than a wing back, which suggests a 3 at the back set for 901 FC. Not something that they've done a lot, but something that they might want to do to assert themselves in the offensive end against Tampa Bay.
Leston Paul over to Patrick Segrist. In to Kisiedu at the top of the box, left side now for Kelly. Is he onside? Tampa Bay says he is not.
Now the flag's up.
And it is offside as Jeremy Kelly might be off by about half a stride. Of course, Neil Collins, the head coach for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Pedigree, of course, coaching since 2018, was a player also for Sheffield United. And he has helped continue really a terrific legacy for this organization. Let's take a look at the injury reports brought to you by Campbell Clinic. And today, Hanwala Buana, Devin Boyce, David Egbo for Memphis, and then you also see for Tampa Bay, C.J. Cochran, the goalkeeper, is out, as well as Thomas Van Kazeel is out this afternoon. That's your injury report brought to you by Campbell Clinic. And now Goodrum and the referee having a bit of a conversation here in just the 3rd minute.
Well, I imagine they'll get to know each other a lot over the course of this matchup. Referee is someone that Philip Goodrum is as the most foul player and the most committed fouler in USL Championship this season, throughout the entire season. He's going to be well-versed with the official, and within 10 seconds of this matchup starting, he had already been knocked down and was complaining to the officials about a foul not being called. So setting the tone.
Elton Garcia on the whistle today for this Eastern Conference semifinal. Of course, Tampa Bay getting past the Miami FC last week, and Memphis able to get past Detroit City FC, and this will be a throw for Memphis. This match was supposed to take place last night amongst a trio of terrific USL Championship matches, but the rains kept coming, and this is probably the best alternative to play it today because the rains just did not stop until 10 o'clock Central Time last night. It would have been a mess, perhaps, on the field. And plus, you're going to have a lot more fans in the stand to enjoy this premier matchup today. But gave us some time to watch some really good matches last night, and neither one of them could get settled in 90 minutes.
No, but you would expect that, Tim. I mean, when you're talking about the conference semifinals, you're down to the best remaining teams, the 8 best teams in the sport, and it's to be expected. But I'll say this: the timing is not necessarily ideal. A quick change like that, but it's a crowd that's starting to really fill in. It's going to be a very loud crowd, and certainly much better than the conditions last night. It would have been a really waterlogged pitch, to say the least. And that's fine. I'm kind of old school, so I'm sort of just play it as it needs to be played. But it probably would have been a great representation of the sport, and it probably would have been the best way to see the best out of these two teams.
I'm not sure I'd want to play golf with you. I'm not a play it as it lies kind of guy. I like to get the drop, lift and clean, and all of those things. But it does provide an extra opportunity for a captain to provide leadership, because the moment that match was canceled, it was up to the captains then to set the regimen for, okay, what time do we eat? What time do we go to bed? What time do we wake up for match day? Because today was going to be a recovery day, but now they've had to plan for this impromptu. So leadership does matter, and both teams so far coming out steady in these opening 5.5 minutes.
Well, we've seen a period of possession here for 901 FC that we didn't really see at all in that last match against the Detroit City. Tampa Bay does not press at the same level that Detroit does, and so they're allowing Memphis 901 FC to pass it around a little bit. And 901 FC is a much more pressing team this year than Tampa has been, and so maybe not surprising there, but I think that does help 901 FC to settle into this match a little bit quicker.
Here's Leo Fernandez. He'll go down the far side, centering pass, looking top of the box, trying to find Jake LaCava. That is headed down to Segrist, who can get it as far as Kelly. And then Malloy is brought down, but no foul. That's going to be a throw for
No, I think they did give the foul. I think they did give the foul, did they? Looked like the officials giving the foul. Maybe not. I think everyone seems to be disagreeing with Elton Garcia today.
Maybe they are giving the foul. I didn't see the assistant referee do the flag straight up and do the wiggle, wiggle, wiggle.
Yeah, they gave the foul, but there was some confusion about what was given, because I think everybody was upset.
Back underway at AutoZone Park. 7th minute of action. Tim Van Horn and Peter Edmiston as Tampa Bay coming in. And these two teams split the series this season. Now we've got a man down. It looks like that's going to be Leston Paul, and he's holding his head. And Elton Garcia says, Guenzati, you need to step back. We're talking about a head injury. And now Tampa Bay is surrounding Elton Garcia, but Garcia saying bring Angie Zukowski out, the athletic trainer from Memphis 901 FC.
Well, they're pointing to the assistant official to clarify something that happened in that sequence. It looks like Leston Paul is sitting up already, kind of rubbing the back of his head, so hopefully he won't have to miss too much time. We've seen concussion protocol play an important role, an increasingly important role in the sport, and I think it's one that we all have to take very seriously. When there's a head injury, you have to make absolutely sure that the player is safe and can continue, because that's something you don't want to play with, Tim.
Now Leston's got a protestation about something that happened earlier, and now the question will be, does Leston have to go off of the pitch? I believe he'll have to, but also who receives the uncontested drop?
Well, I would think that at this point it's going to be Tampa, but then they'll give it back. I presume.
It's Sunday in the South. You got to give it back, right?
Well, maybe not.
No.
Okay.
It's playoffs.
All right.
All right. Back underway, and Guillen, Aaron Guillen, down the left side. He'll try to skip that over Fernando, and that one flies right out for a Memphis throw. Trey Muse in goal. He's got 8 clean sheets on the season for 901 FC, and he'll clear that to the center circle. But
Leston Paul back out and looking okay, by the way, which is nice to see. No worse for wear.
Kisiedu now to Derek Dodson. Back to Reese Buckmaster. Leston Paul with an inside turn. He leaves that for Kisiedu. It's a smart play. They're able to maintain a bit more possession, and now Graham Smith, who scored the match winner last week for Memphis, walks it up. He's got 5 goals on the year. Tampa happy to let Memphis have it in their own half of the pitch right now. They'll press 3, but only as far as the center circle.
And you can see the different approach that Tampa Bay is taking relative to last week. Detroit and 901 FC has a lot more freedom to maintain possession. That's something that Ben Pierman has wanted to incorporate into his team more and more over the course of the season, to be very comfortable in possession, which they are. But now trying to kind of drag Tampa a little bit further up the pitch so they can go over the top and find some spaces behind. And Tampa, I think, is very well aware that that's kind of the way that he wants to play right now. So a real chess match to see who can assert themselves early.
Memphis able to work their way out of intense pressure from Tampa. There's a centering ball over the top of Goodrum, but only as far as Segrist. Segrist chips it back to the top of the box, but that's picked up by Fernandez, but recouped by Leston Paul. Tampa amped up the pressure in the defending third of Memphis. They were able to be patient and work their way out. It's a similar situation of what you'll see with Ben Pierman too, that he will press with his forwards from time to time, but not constantly. He wants to spring a surprise, as looks like Neil Collins did. Memphis was able to handle it that time, but 901 FC had to labor to get out of the back, but they do maintain possession here in the 11th minute. Now here's Luis Fernando. It's good to have him back if you're a Memphis fan. He does have some really special moments in him, and plus warm bodies are at a premium on that Memphis bench right now, Peter.
Well, and you need skill. You need skillful players at this stage of the competition, because at some point, against the best teams, sometimes it comes down to a 1v1 matchup. Can you get past a man? Can you make a run? Can you put one really quality ball in? He's the kind of player that can do that. He might be a little inconsistent at times, but you need quality at this point in the season.
Here's a diagonal to Jeremy Kelly. White able to deal with it very well. Now Tampa takes over, drops it back to Guillen. Guillen getting some pressure by Fernando. Able to get past that, though, to Dahlgaard. Dahlgaard. Now LaCava and Jeremy Kelly, or Graham Smith rather, and that's going to be out for a Tampa throw. I think Neil Collins is wanting a foul a little bit further back behind the play.
Yeah, he is, and it was an inadvertent slip that caught LaCava there. Kind of an unfortunate coming together. There was nothing in it, and I think that's why the official rightly didn't whistle it. It's, what it happens, and you hate to see it for the player, but I don't think there was much in it. I think it was a good no call.
So here's Guillen with a throw in for Tampa Bay. Crowd continuing to filter in here in downtown Memphis. There's a college basketball game down the street, but I don't think that's impacted the numbers here. A lot of folks very excited. This is an historic match for the city. This is the furthest the franchise has been, and if we go back to the NASL days of the 70s and 80s, you include that, this is the biggest match in the city's history.
Well, and it is, as we mentioned, changed at late notice, so difficult for folks to change their plans, but I think it's been an impressive turnout so far.
Memphis will get the ball back.
Early on, first 13 minutes of the match or so, Tim, Memphis has settled in well, and you can see the passage of play and kind of the patterns they're trying to work and trying to create some overloads. They've got an extra attacking player that right now kind of sliding up on that right side with Dodson, and they're switching quickly and trying to find some space. It's a smart play.
Here's a ball through to Kisiedu. Can he get there in time? No, Guillen takes the diagonal, able to cut him off, and he'll be more than happy to give that away for a throw-in, but he won't be more than happy to give it to Kisiedu.
Well, Kisiedu wanted it quickly, obviously, and Guillen, a veteran move, doing a little time wasting. And this is where you'd like to see a little more quickness from 901 FC. They are somewhat deliberate in switching play. That has been something I know Ben Pierman has tried to work very hard to help them do that quicker. I think that would help here because Tampa is able to spread out, and you see right there, they're able to make those adjustments when you don't go quickly.
It's nicely read by Connor Antley. Graham Smith able to head that away from Jake LaCava. Leston Paul unlocks Kisiedu, and now Memphis will bring it over and switch it to Derek Dotson, free up some of that pressure. But you can see Tampa now pressuring with 2 and now 3. Trying to force Memphis into a position in their defending third where their back is toward up the pitch and slow them down, forcing them an extra pass.
Tampa just is not comfortable with the press. They're not a high press team. They're amongst the lower third in the USL Championship in pressing stats this year, whereas 901 FC is closer to the top. And you can see the difference. They're not comfortable doing it. And 901 FC is holding possession as a result of that. Nice run into the channel there from Goodrum.
Aaron Malloy, he'll switch that all the way across to Patrick Segrist, who finds Jeremy Kelly top of the box. He can't turn. He's forced to just maintain possession. He does find Leston Paul, though. He's got Malloy, who can fire from there if he wants it. Instead, he goes to the wing to Dotson. Is there anybody in the box? And nicely picked up by Brino as he reads that out. And unfortunately for Memphis 901 FC, nobody on the near post, far post, or in the middle. An easy claim for Phil Brino.
It's a really good setup play and not a bad cross, but Goodrum really didn't commit to that front post run, and he kind of ambled over a little bit. I don't know that he was expecting it quite at that same time, and as a result of that, didn't really pay off. But you're looking at the possession stats are something else right now. 901 FC with 83% of the possession in the first 15 minutes of this match, completely dominating the ball, and I think Tampa Bay is comfortable with 901 FC being in possession, but maybe not to that degree. It's been a dominant performance so far in terms of being on the ball.
Goodrum finds Kisiedu. He's got help to his left if he can find him. He's got Leston Paul instead. That'll do just fine, though. Patrick Segrist, a good left foot into the box for Goodrum. That's headed down and away. One-touch clearance by Dahlgaard. And now stripped by Derek Dotson. Terrific play by Dotson. Here's Luis Fernando. Tries a centering pass. That's headed down and away by Nicky Law. That'll ring your bell. Here's Jeremy Kelly with a spin move. Top of the box to Segrist. Segrist back in. He's looking for Goodrum. Can't find him. Dotson settles it down. One-touch shot, and that is fired just wide of Brino's left goalpost. It's the first real opportunity for Memphis 901 FC, well, let alone either team this afternoon.
Well, you had that cross earlier that kind of sailed over the head of Goodrum. That was a good chance if it had been a little bit lower. But you're right, they haven't really taken that possession and turned it into a threat until that last sequence. But you could see some of the positive things that were happening out there. You could see the quick switch over from the left side or the right side to the left that then allowed them to kind of open some things up, get some numbers, and showing some real skill as well on the ball. So promising start for 901 FC, and Tampa got some work to do.
Settled down by Goodrum. Fernando can't keep the ball. There'll be a foul on Nicky Law right at the midfield stripe. Celebrating its 75th anniversary, Select is proud to be the official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. Choose what you play with www.selectsportamerica.com. Select, League's choice, player's choice. No Select soccer balls in the back of the net yet this afternoon. Tim Van Horn and Peter Edmiston with you here from AutoZone Park as Memphis 901 FC hosting the Tampa Bay Rowdies here in this USL Championship Eastern Conference semifinal. Thanks for joining us. I know everybody else is in the clubhouse this weekend. We're trying to find out who's the last league semi-finalist after, of course, San Antonio ran riot against Oakland Roots, and then you've got Colorado Springs going into extra time last night, and then kicks from the mark for Louisville City. How will this end? We got a long way to go, my friend. Here's Fernando. Dotson thinks about a skip pass, goes short to Fernando. Nicely cleared up out of danger for the moment by Nicky Law, but this trickles over to Patrick Segrist. Memphis has 4 in the box if he can find a way. Aaron Malloy, left-footed, looks like he scuffed it. Goodrum still has it. Malloy, another left foot. That's blocked at the top of the box. Has no choice but to lay it off for Dotson, but Fernando ready out wide. Memphis now with a bit of pressure, but Tampa Bay, good job forcing them back into midfield. No switch here for Memphis. They'll try to work the near side. Now Leston Paul with a one-timer. Over the top for Goodrum, and Goodrum's going to get called for offside. Well, I tell you, Leston Paul has, if his foot were a sporting instrument, I think it would be a putter. He plays the inside of the football as good as anyone as I've ever seen in this league.
Very tight call on that offside, but again, it's another example of domination of possession for 901 FC, and I think a smart tactical move from the head coach Ben Pierman, who has kind of slotted and sacrificed a man defensively, and Dodson, who is capable of doing a lot of different things, really pushed him way up, sacrificing somebody in the back, but that has opened up a ton of space for 901 FC to work with in terms of keeping the ball and just being able to find that outlet time and time again.
Shanked ball. Kisiedu can't come up with it, though. Castellanos, or rather Lawrence White with the ball. He'll go over to the right side. Had a little bit of tennis there for just a moment. Connor Antley dispossessed by Jeremy Kelly. Back heel pass to Segrist, and here comes Memphis 901 FC with a bit of a build-up. Now Leston Paul to Aaron Malloy, who has just been on fire with assists this year. Here's Kisiedu. Laurent Kisiedu cuts the inside on his right foot. Goes for the fake. Hilton, there's a shot, and that's going to trickle just to the left of the post. And Kisiedu thought he had something there, just missing left, but great bit of individual skill, just not the finish that he wanted.
Oh, fabulous footwork from Kisiedu. He did such a great job of developing, getting that space, and then just kind of dragged the shot wide, got a little excited, and probably ended up with a little more space than he expected. And I think sometimes you get a little over-eager with that left-footed shot. But more warning signs again for Tampa Bay Rowdies, and they have just not gotten into this match at all. They have really not settled well. They've not established anything. They're going to be dangerous on the counter, but to this point, they can barely get a touch. I mean, they've barely had a kick of the ball.
Nicky Law is able to get that to the far side for Tampa. Connor Antley dispossessed by Patrick Segrist. It goes down the line and touched out for a Memphis throw.
I mean, to give you an example of this, I say they barely had a kick of the ball. Listen to this, Tim. 901 FC has 199 passes to this point in the game. Tampa Bay has 38.
Wow. Wow.
So they've really just not gotten started in terms of this. 86%, only 39% passing accuracy for those 38 passes as well for Tampa Bay. So the tactical battle early on has been already it's been won by Ben Pierman. Now the question is just what can you do with that victory? How quickly will Tampa Bay adjust, and what will they do to make a difference?
Lewis Hilton with a through ball to Fernandez. That's going to be deflected off of Green Smith. We got a first corner kick of the match. That's going to go to the Tampa Bay Rowdies. The numbers sound good if you're a Memphis fan, but if you're Tampa Bay, you have just spouted all these numbers off to me. And guess what? We're tied at 0-0.
Well, and again, that's the thing with soccer is that it's not just about possession. It's not just about passing. You have to do something with it. And 901 FC has not necessarily created a ton of overwhelming chances, but again, a corner here. Soccer's a weird game, man. You just got to be very careful in these dead ball situations.
Nicky Law, right footer. He's got one inside the 6 for Tampa. That's going to be curled into the back half of the 6. That's headed down or up and away by Derek Dodson as far as Leston Paul. And then finally Kisiedu with a volley. Clears it out, and Tampa Bay will have to clear the line and come all the way back to Brino as Memphis is able to get the ball and get their lines out of harm's way. Brino, his clearance headed down by Buckmaster. Then Leston Paul with a sliding challenge. That'll be out for a Tampa throw. A little bit of a nervous moment, though, because Leston Paul did get the original header on the corner kick, but only got it a yard or two. And I think he's got a little bit of a smile, a little bit of laugh. Like, yeah, we got away with that one.
Got away with it. Wasn't necessarily the textbook way to defend that, but you make it work. I've probably sound like a broken record between this week and last week, but I just think that Derek Dodson has become such an important part of the way that Ben Pierman wants to play, and he's played a huge role both going forward and defensively, and he was big in that sequence as well. His versatility allows 901 FC to really do a number of different things. You just don't see a lot of guys that are comfortable playing right back and right center forward, no problem.
Knotted down by Goodrum, but only as far as Castellanos. And now this is switched far side to Sebastian Dahlgaard. And Nicky Law. Law with a couple of assists on the season, and that ball is going to be overcooked. I believe that's going to be out for a goal kick. Sure is. Looking for Fernandez.
Well, again, Tampa just trying to find some level of possession and just get a foothold into this match, because as of right now, it is 0-0, but they've really not gotten started. They haven't gotten going. I don't know if it's the late start or what. They seem a step slow compared to 901 FC. They don't seem as creative as we've typically become used to seeing the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and they're going to have to figure out what's going on very quickly, because eventually 901 FC is going to make this pressure count.
Long ball looking for Fernando. He does get to Goodrum, though. One sidestep. He's at the side of the box. He's looking for help down the line, and then that stays in play. Fernando says it was not off of him last. Dahlgaard says it wasn't off of him last, and advantage Dahlgaard. It's going to be Tampa Bay throw.
And if Goodrum could have just, it's hard to play that pass. He couldn't see it very well, but man, Jeremy Kelly was in acres of space in the box, absolutely unmarked, no one near him. Hard to play that ball, but Goodrum is an excellent passer, has a number of assists, 6 to be precise, so he can do it.
Here's a ball to Kisiedu, and he's going to launch that one halfway up into the Bluff City Mafia. Good layoff by Philip Goodrum. That's going to be out for a goal kick, and you can see some of the shirts have already come off in Bluff City Mafia, and Kisiedu may have taken a knock on the follow-through. That would not be good for Memphis.
Looks a little worse for wear. I think he's going to be okay. It looks like one that you kind of hobble off. Took a weird hop, that ball, and unexpected, and all of a sudden popped up into a strange position. And I think, sometimes you try to make that adjustment on the fly and you tweak a little something in the process, but I think he's going to be okay.
Phil Brino with the clearance back into play for Tampa, over to Sebastian Dahlgaard. Looking to work around Fernando. Fernando positioned well. That's a good touch by Dahlgaard, but they're going to get him for the arm around Fernando.
But again, you look at the effort. Look at the effort. I mean, that's just the 901 FC. That to me embodies the way this match has gone so far. Tampa Bay has not matched the energy level and effort level from 901 FC. Fernando coming in and just winning that 50-50 ball. That's pure effort. That's all that is. And 901 FC's got the edge right now.
27th minute, Tim Van Horn, Peter Edmiston with you with this Eastern Conference semifinal. Thank you for joining us this afternoon. This was supposed to be a Saturday evening game, but heavy rains prevented that. Got a foul here on Philip Goodrum. Ben Pierman has, you can see at the bottom of your screen, is taking a visit with the fourth official this afternoon, Matt Thompson, and has voiced some displeasure over some recent happenings.
Ben Pierman's got to be very careful. I think he's about to pick up a card here. Yeah, it's a yellow card for Ben Pierman. He's pointing and gesturing very strongly at the official. It was to be fair to Ben Pierman, it was a terrible call on Philip Goodrum. There was no reason for him whatsoever. But those gestures, I'm not surprised to see that yellow card come out. He was pointing pretty good at Elton Garcia.
So in the 28th minute, yellow card for Memphis for the head coach, Ben Pierman. Back underway, and it'll be a throw in for Tampa Bay. So how, from what I've gathered this year from various teams, if the head coach gets a yellow, then you start going through the other assistants who haven't gotten a yellow in the match, and then they pass along the message that way.
I mean, that would be the wise thing to do. Although we were part of a match that I think me and JJ Greer were on the call of that one against Colorado, where Charleston Battery, where 3
Fernando
red
goes
cards.
down, and there's going to be a foul right at the edge of the box. A critical position. Will there be a yellow card? And it looks like it's going to be Aaron Guillen, who's going to go into the books here in the 29th minute for Tampa Bay.
I thought we might have another red card while I was talking about the previous match with red cards. Nasty little elbow strike Don't know that it was super intentional, but you'd have to go back and take a look at it to try to judge whether it's intentional. But he certainly caught him right on the edge of the box. Fortunate for Tampa Bay that it was outside of the box, because that's just about a foot away from being in the box and a penalty.
You know, from the moment you talked about even anybody getting a yellow card, there have been 2.
It's just when it rains, it pours. Hopefully not literally at this point.
So Luis Fernando will be over the ball. Aaron Malloy, who's typically a right footer, is over the ball. This is 19 yards from the end line and about, it's about 16, 17 yards wide of the left post of Phil Brino. There is a shooting opportunity here if they want it. What do you think here? Pitching wedge, or do they go for the driver?
I think you've got to hit this one. You've got to curl this around. To me, this is the left footer here. Either you want to put it in front or take a shot on goal. Right footer, I think it's going to be.
Here's the run up. Malloy chips for the back post. Headed back into play, but that's going to go out and over for a goal kick. Looking for a big throng of Memphis 901 FC players, and here's another look at that. It looks like maybe Segrist, because it was so overcooked, he was the last one, and really no opportunity other than maybe floating a balloon back into the middle of the box. Memphis 901 FC chance goes begging here in the 30th minute.
And I think that was the plan. You know, certainly to put one back into the area from over the side, but you know, those are difficult chances. It's one of those where, you know, the positioning, even though it is close, 19 yards, not too far, it's hard being on the edges of the box like that. It does create some challenges in terms of positioning.
So the chances have come, a few, for Memphis. Maybe not what you'd call a gilt edge chance, but there have been some chances for Memphis. Tampa still looking for their first really good opportunity here in Memphis in this Eastern Conference semifinal. So Aaron Guillen went in the books a moment or so ago. He'll take the throw for Tampa. Derek Dotson comes away with it. He's got some room to penetrate. Gives it right back up. You hope, you know, we've had a couple of yellow cards here, and you hope that the match is settled on the field and not in the officials' book. You would hate to see a soft card given, and I'm not judging either one of those, but you want to see 11 v 11 and let it be settled by better team wins.
Well, and I mean, the thing is that's up to. I'm always of the opinion, Tim. I agree with you, but that's up to the players. You know, if somebody commits a red card offense, you have to give them the red card. I'm not going to keep, you know, guys on the pitch just because I want an 11 v 11. If somebody does something that's red card worthy, you gotta pull the card. Same thing if you commit 2 yellow card offenses, that's just the way it goes.
Goodrum to Jeremy Kelly. Kelly goes to the left side, left-footed shot, and just wide. I think that was closer than virtually everyone in AutoZone Park thought it was going to be. That one whizzed by Brino's left upright for a goal kick. Take a look at this.
Yeah, Brino was very casual with that. He seemed very comfortable with where it was going. I don't know that was very wise on his part, because it didn't miss by all that much. The way he looked, he's like, yeah, we got this, no problem. I was going wide all the way. I don't know about that. I think that one just caught him off guard.
The answer to Coach Neil Collins is, I knew it was going to go wide.
I had that under control. I'm not so sure. It was a good strike, and again, Jeremy Kelly has shown, you know, he's got the capability to create that on his own. One of those players that can create a scoring opportunity out of very little, very talented feet.
John Berner, the backup keeper from Memphis, forced into action. He makes the catch on the ball out of bounds. Good hands there, even without the gloves on. Throw in for Tampa Bay. That's been a good story for Memphis, too. He's had a comeback from a comeback. He re-injured himself from a previous injury last year, but we saw him in action this year, and a couple of clean sheets, and also some leadership out there as well during practice, which you can never have too many veterans out there, especially a club that's looking to go on the upswing when it comes to their stock. Here's a little bit of possession for Tampa Bay as Aaron Guillen in the corner. That is knocked out by Malloy. Throw into the box. Can Dotson get there first? He can, and he plays it better safe than sorry out for a corner kick. Second corner kick of the afternoon for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, the corner's the only thing that Tampa Bay has the edge on in 901 FC, 2-0 in terms of corners, but otherwise it's been all 901 FC. And again, from a possession standpoint, 901 FC still with 75% of the possession, with just 13 or so minutes to play in this first half. So again, a very unusual game from Tampa Bay's perspective. Just really haven't seen a lot from them, and yet because it's 0-0, they're very much in it.
LaCava and Buckmaster inside the 6. That's all we see from Tampa at the moment, but now they run their play. Here's a ball headed by Graham Smith out wide. Anywhere will do for Memphis right now. It's corralled by Dahlgaard, and now the ball ballooned back into the box. There's a header, and that falls safely wide to the left of, or rather to the right of Trey Muse's goalpost. That was Castellanos, Robert Castellanos, a goal on the season. Nice cushioned header, just couldn't get it on frame for the Rowdies. So look at Trey Muse, 8 clean sheets, comes in from Loudoun United. Tampa Bay looking to play through the middle. And now Kissiedu with good positioning and finds Goodrum. Or rather Jeremy Kelly. He'll lay that off for Aaron Malloy with Fernando. He can do some magic down the wing. There's a left-footed in-swinger, and that is going to be booted out and away safely by Lawrence Wyke, and that'll be out for a Memphis throw here in the 35th minute. Quick pressure by LaCava forces Memphis back into their own half. Now Graham Smith looking for Laurent Kissiedu. Connor Antley will let that roll out harmlessly for a throw.
Well, and again, 901 FC trying to drag Tampa Bay a little bit further out of position. Tampa Bay having to drop ever deeper and deeper in order to deal with the midfield overloads that we're seeing from 901 FC. It's been a very smart move in terms of the way the setup has gone. I think it's caught Tampa Bay by surprise. I don't think that they were ready tactically for this sort of approach from 901 FC. The question is, can 901 FC make all this pressure really tell with a goal? Because I would suspect this is the kind of half that would make Neil Collins and the coaching staff at Tampa Bay put some changes together pretty quickly. They'd be thrilled at this point, Tim, to get in there 0-0 and have a chance to kind of reshuffle things.
Derek Dotson plays it on the floor to Kissiedu. And now you've got Leston Paul, the captain for 901 FC. He'll just lay it off for Laurent, says you do the work here. Now Jeremy Kelly goes to the inside to Goodrum. Goodrum, if he buys some space, he can be deadly. No foul call. Tampa Bay Rowdies looking for a bit of a counterattack here. Here comes Nicky Law. And lays it off to Connor Antley. Antley, 5 assists on the season.
Just no juice in the attack, Tim. I mean, that was a chance to counter. They haven't had a ton of them. That was a chance to counter. It wasn't a great chance, but at least was an opportunity. And instead, they just the drive kind of ekes out of all of that, and now Memphis with a chance to get back and cover in defense.
Tampa Bay with a little bit of space here. Here's Guinzotti. He can be very dangerous. That ball, though, trickles harmlessly into the hands of Trey Muse.
Has Leo Fernandez touched the ball? I think within the first 5 to 10 minutes, I think once or twice. Since then, it's been absolutely nothing. Guinzotti, has he touched the ball? It's been absolute one-way traffic by and large in this match.
And then on the flip side, we've called Philip Goodrum's name a few times, but not in any significantly threatening situations at this point. So many of our goal scorers have had a quiet afternoon thus far, but that can change. Here is Luis Fernando. He'll skip to the inside and lay it off for the Trinidad and Tobago captain, Leston Paul. There's Jeremy Kelly to Kissiedu. He finds Goodrum, and off his line is Brino.
That was a good chance there. That was a really good chance. You see Goodrum gesturing to Kissiedu, knowing that was just inches away from perfection. He was right on that last shoulder, was Goodrum, and the pass was just a touch too heavy. He knew if that ball had been just a little off of that, that was a 1v1 with the goalkeeper opportunity.
Memphis able to regain possession. Here's Kisiedu with space to his right. Finds Luis Fernando. Fernando into the box, looking for some help. It's cleared away, though, quickly and easily by Guillen. Memphis keeps it in, though. Leston Paul with a deflection, but only as far as Jake LaCava. And now Tampa looking for a little bit of breathing room, and a big switch by Lewis Hilton goes over the top. It's pulled down by Dahlgaard. He's got it again now against Jeremy Kelly and 901 FC, but they'll pull it back once again. Here's Connor Antley with a penetrating run to the middle, looking for Leo Fernandez. There he is. He saves the ball from going out. Now he'll work against Aaron Malloy. Quick touch to the inside. Look out for Guinzotti, because he can let fly from there as well. And now Tampa settling into their first good spell of possession. Fernando with really a needless foul, 35 yards from goal on Guillen, and now it's a dead ball situation for Tampa. Now you're giving him basically a free ball into the mixer here in the 40th minute. We're at 0-0 here at AutoZone Park Eastern Conference semifinal matchup. Tim Van Horn, Peter Edmondson, Neil Collins there. What will he dial up here for Nicky Law and Lewis Hilton? And they'll play it short. Memphis clearing their lines. Here's a ball into Nicky Law. Knocked down, cleared only as far as the top of the box by Malloy, but Kisiedu is Johnny on the spot. Tries to work past Guillen instead. Guillen is able to corral the ball, but then the ball harmlessly cleared out by Graham Smith. So a bit of pressure here by Tampa. We've been looking for this, and now starting to come to fruition here in the dying moments of the first half. Good bit of 1-2 by Law and Guillen. Here's a turn by LaCava. No shot there for him, nor for Hilton. He'll switch it far side. Picked off by Kisiedu. He doesn't have help. He'll just have to buy some space. And he does. A good turn. Stays on his feet. No fouls called. And now Malloy takes over for Memphis. Goodrum making a run to the middle. He's got a layoff of Kelly and Kisiedu as Tampa Bay does a great job filling their lines back up. I think that weaving run bought him a little bit of time there for Memphis 901 FC, forcing them to pull back. Here's Jeremy Kelly, can't control it, so now Tampa Bay will take back over. Starting to get a little bit of back and forth in this match now. It was all one-way traffic, as you mentioned a moment ago, with Tampa having to bear down some defense against 901 FC, but now Tampa starting to get their legs a little bit.
A little bit. I think, you know, I still think that there's just not a lot of juice to this Tampa attack. Even you saw a couple minutes ago when they had a really good long switch and kind of a 1v1 opportunity, they dialed it back, pulled it back. Everything is very labored with Tampa, and that leads to those kinds of situations where you're asking a center back at that point, Castellanos, to blast the ball up, and you know he's not got that range of passing, and it ends up being a harmless throw-in. You know, so for Tampa, just not a lot on offer right now, which is surprising for a team of their skill level.
Luis Fernando intercepted by Leo Fernandez.
Now I will say on 901 FC's part, getting a little sloppy in the passing game too. A few needless giveaways in some key areas, starting to become a bit of a problem. Got to link 4 or 5 passes together in these moves, and they're not quite able to do that as this half has gone on like they were in the early part of the game.
43rd minute, not a whole lot of stoppage time anticipated here in the first half. We've had a couple of yellow cards, but really not much other than that. Now this ball is wildly cleared back. And Brino has no chance to get it. Now we've got our first Celtic crossing corner kick of the match. Castellanos now sprinting back. That's good pressure by Memphis 901 FC, an unforced error. And the question is, can Memphis make Tampa Bay pay for it?
Yeah, just wildly unnecessary from Castellanos there. And it sets up an opportunity on the corner for Malloy or Fernando, one, maybe both.
Memphis with a couple of guys inside the 6-yard box in front of Brino. And it looks like Aaron Malloy will be the one to tee this up here in the 44th minute. It's a low ball to Fernando. Overcooked, though. Could not handle the first touch, and now Tampa Bay can break. Memphis has to hustle back. Guinzotti got himself back onside. Tampa Bay will maintain possession. That's a wasted opportunity. Terrible ball from Malloy, blasted off of Fernando's foot.
Yeah, you're going to want to scrap that routine from the corner for sure.
There's some one-on-one with Leo Fernandez. Dotson with a good enough job, able to get that into a position where it's picked off by Malloy, but Fernandez has it back once again. And now Aaron Guillen sends it all the way back to Castellanos. Maybe 1 or 2 minutes of Miller Lite added stoppage time here.
I can't imagine there'd be more than one. There hasn't been any stoppages of note. The head injury to Leston Paul, that would be about it, and that wasn't a particularly long stoppage. There's been no goals, no huge injury issues. That's in 1 minute.
Here's a penetrating run by Fernandez. He can have a shot if he wants it. Leston Paul slows him down, though. LaCava. Is that going to be off of Graham Smith, or will it be off of LaCava? It's going to be off of Smith. Another corner kick here in the dying seconds of the first half for Tampa Bay. And now the fourth official, Matthew Thompson, has indicated there will be a minimum of 1 minute of Miller Lite's stoppage time here in the first half at AutoZone Park. 0-0 is our score. Tampa Bay, though, has been in the ascendancy over the last few moments. They're starting to get their sea legs here in Memphis, but Memphis has had their fair chances in the bulk of the possession here. It's been a great first half. Here's Nicky Law teeing it up on the corner kick. The ball sent into the box. It's cleared out to the far side. There's a one-timer, and that is blasted into the picnic tables and perhaps into the nearby apartment complex.
Almost. It almost got into somebody's patio there. He hit a fence.
Now Philip Goodrum is down. I don't know if he got a knock in the scrum from that corner kick.
Holding the side of his face, but looks relatively okay.
Second other look here. It's a good ball, good flat ball coming into the middle of the box. Graham Smith crashes that away. Goodrum somehow got down on the ground. I don't know if he got bumped by a cleat or what happened. Nonetheless, that's going to do it for the first half. We've seen our last bit of action here from AutoZone Park, and we expected this to be a tightly contested match. And that's exactly what we've got, folks. We're through 45 minutes, and your host, Memphis 901 FC 0, Tampa Bay Rowdies 0. Coming up, all your halftime stats and so much more, and of course a great second half on the way. Coming up next right here, it's USL Championship Eastern Conference semi-final action.
I walked into Chick-fil-A completely outnumbered. My husband was away at military leadership training, and the kids were doing this. Miss Carol brought me water, something to eat, and then before I knew it, she was tying Margot's shoes up and carrying her out to the car.
It always makes me feel good if that helps somebody.
I went in the next day because I just wanted to make sure she knew how much I appreciated her help.
I'm just so glad there was somebody there when she really needed it.
That's gonna go on my refrigerator.
Action News 5, taking action for you.
With breaking news from your neighborhood.
Investigations that uncover scams and ripoffs.
And the Mid-South's most accurate weather forecast.
The team you trust, Action News 5, taking action for you.
We make the most of your morning with breaking news.
The most accurate forecast to help you plan your day and traffic information to keep you on the go.
It's how Action News 5 is taking action for you. Weekday mornings from 4 to 7.
So I stopped in at Chick-fil-A for lunch and saw Officer Wilson come in. I decided to place a dine-in mobile order and have a cookie delivered to him just to show appreciation for his service for our community.
A few minutes later, I noticed that Officer Wilson had gotten up and left, and I knew he hadn't gotten his cookie yet.
I'm headed to my car. I turn around and I see Allie, and she's running after me.
Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Police Officer.
Usually when someone yells, officer, officer, they want to ask me about a ticket they got. I absolutely wanted the cookie. This cookie is delicious.
We're a city with soul, grit and grind. From sunup to sundown, with every action you take, you make Memphis, Memphis. And we're here every step of the way, taking action for you.
It means we've got your back.
Telling your stories, celebrating your community,
Watching out for your family.
And finding solutions to your problems.
It's what we do. Action News 5, taking action.
Back at AutoZone Park, it is halftime in the Eastern Conference semifinal. Memphis 901 FC and Tampa Bay Rowdies tied at 0-0. There have been a few opportunities, and much like what's happening in the crowd, a few soccer balls flying in for the fans. These they can keep, though. Coming up next, we got halftime stats. We'll take a look at the bracket, and we've got so much more on the way right here on USL Championship Soccer, and we'll be right back.
Goes topics. I mean, yeah, let's talk about today's the day where I'm going to go topics.
Roll it down.
I am.
You don't need a car to listen to Sirius XM. You can listen anywhere. You know that, right?
What? Kevin Hart's left on our radio.
Kevin, you could use your phone.
What?
Alexa, play Kevin Hart's Laugh Out Loud Radio on Sirius XM.
What? This is how I know you're getting old. I guess that was it.
What?
Welcome back. We're at AutoZone Park for the Eastern Conference semifinal. It's the last one of the weekend. Memphis 901 FC, Tampa Bay Rowdies. They're not disappointing. They are deadlocked at 0-0. Tim Van Horn and Peter Edmiston from AutoZone Park. And this weekend, it's been a fascinating weekend in the conference semifinals, Peter.
Yeah, a lot of tight matchups, as you would expect, although the performance of the weekend has certainly come from San Antonio, who dominated Oakland from start to finish with a comprehensive 3-0 victory. Colorado Springs, Sacramento, that was very tight, extra time win for Colorado Springs. And then Louisville City, Pittsburgh, it's a real missed opportunity for Pittsburgh. They had Louisville City on the ropes. And to the credit of Louisville City, the number one seed, they hung in there, got the win in penalties, and they will host the winner of this matchup in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, it was an incredible match. Pittsburgh down by 2 goals in the 85th minute, or up by 2 goals in the 85th minute. Couldn't seal the deal. Let's take a look at the bracket. Here's how things have been, and here's how things will be, looking at that Eastern Conference bracket, the semifinals, and looking at the Western Conference. Of course, it's all brought to you by Hisense. You can see San Antonio and Colorado Springs will be playing in San Antonio in the conference finals, and then Lynn Family Stadium will be the scene for next weekend, as Louisville City will host the winner of this matchup. It's really just that simple. If Pittsburgh would have hung on and won, the winner of this match would have been the host next week. So a missed opportunity. Pittsburgh could have really done a favor for these two teams, but nonetheless, Louisville City is going to be happy, and their fans are going to show out in numbers. That should be big. But San Antonio, there were 2 close matches that San Antonio just looked irresistible this weekend. I think they may be the team to beat, especially out of the West.
Yeah, at this point, especially, they're going to be hosting all the way through the finals. So yeah, I think that's a fair point. This matchup, we mentioned, Tim, it's been really intriguing, and I think tactically has been a big win for 901 FC. Possession-wise, 2/3 of the possession, and that really came down in the last 15 minutes. It was 80% for much of the first half. No shots on target for either team and no XG to speak of. That is a concern.
That's an accurate number, by the way.
Yeah, and that's a concern for 901 FC because you have that much possession and you can't really convert it into anything too threatening. But again, look at the pass numbers, twice as many passes almost for 901 FC versus Tampa Bay. And Tampa Bay's pass accuracy not very good either. It's been a struggle for them to get into the game, Tampa Bay, but they started to towards the end. Now, my question is going to be, what does Neil Collins do to make a switch? Does he add someone in the midfield? Does he make a positional switch for somebody on the field, or does he go ahead and make a player switch altogether? That remains unclear, but I think he's got to do something because 901 FC has kind of outwitted them so far.
Is he the happier of the two managers at this point?
I mean, I think he'd be thrilled to be in there at 0-0. The way that the matchup went, a lot of that just came down to 901 FC not quite able to take full advantage of some chances. The dead ball chances were kind of pushed by the wayside. Created a couple of half chances, but nothing too big. I think 901 FC could have done more with what they had. So yeah, I think Neil Collins is probably happier. I don't think Ben Pierman has much to change. Just got to get a little sharper towards the tight end of the pitch, in the opposing end.
And we'll see how the pressure works for Memphis 901 FC. They've had some unforced errors, which they were not able to convert. Tampa is starting to ramp up the pressure in spots. The pressure's on anyway. The winner goes to face Louisville. We got 45 more minutes at least, and that's coming up. You're watching USL Championship Eastern Conference semifinal.
Taking action for you.
With breaking news from your neighborhood.
Investigations that uncover scams and ripoffs.
And the Mid-South's most accurate weather forecast.
The team you trust, Action News 5. Taking action for you.
We're a city with soul. Grit and grind. From sunup to sundown. With every action you take, you make Memphis, Memphis. And we're here every step of the way. Taking action for you.
It means we've got your back.
Telling your stories. Celebrating your community.
Watching out for your family.
And finding solutions to your problems.
It's what we do. Action News 5. Taking action for you.
We make the most of your morning with breaking news.
The most accurate forecast to help you plan your day and traffic information to keep you on the go.
It's how Action News 5 is taking action for you. Weekday mornings from 4 to 7.
Weather never stops, and neither do we. We've got the team and the technology to be your first alert to the Mid-South's ever-changing conditions. Taking action for you. First Alert weather, only on Action News 5.
Every evening, Action News 5 is focused on gathering stories that affect you.
From Memphis to South Haven, West Memphis to Covington,
we've got the Mid-South covered.
Action News 5, taking action for you.
So I stopped in at Chick-fil-A for lunch and saw Officer Wilson come in. I decided to place a dine-in mobile order and have a cookie delivered to him just to show appreciation for his service for our community.
A few minutes later, I noticed that Officer Wilson had gotten up and left, and I knew he hadn't gotten his cookie yet.
I'm headed to my car. I turn around and I see Allie, and she's running after me.
Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Police Officer.
Usually when someone yells officer, officer, they want to ask me about a ticket they got. I absolutely wanted the cookie. This cookie is delicious.
Welcome back to afternoon soccer. USL Championship Eastern Conference semifinal. Memphis 901 FC 0, Tampa Bay Rowdies 0, Tim Van Horn, Peter Edmiston, and it is a place to be this afternoon. Good crowd, of course. It was supposed to be last night, but such heavy rains, they loaded all the players and the animals 2 by 2 into the boat, and then came back today for drier conditions. And it has been I got to tell you, this match has been basically what you thought it would be. It's two teams not giving much ground. You see, there's a ball centered in. Brino able to corral that, but no clear-cut opportunities. There was Philip Goodman with perhaps a chance, but you can see Kisiedu working a little bit of magic too.
Well, these are the half chances. That was one of the most impressive bits of play, but again, the passings have drawn out wide. Ben Pierman picking up a yellow card. One of the biggest challenges was him verbally going after referee Elton Garcia. But there's another example, again, just kind of a not quite finding the perfect mix on some of these chances. Everything is wide. Nothing's really tested. The keeper, Brino, and again on the other side of the pitch, Trey Muse has had very little to do apart from dealing with some corners, and that's been it. I don't recall, certainly hasn't had to make much of a save, hasn't had to do anything with regard to the ball. So it has kind of come down to what are these teams going to do to adjust to the way that first half went. What's 901 FC going to be able to do to find a little more sharpness to find the back of the net, and then what's Tampa Bay going to do to put their stamp on this match? Because so far they haven't.
It'll be interesting once we get into the 65th, 70th minute or so. I think Tampa has a few more tools in their arsenal coming off of the bench. I think Neil Collins has that compared to Ben Pierman. You have some guys that can bang in some goals that can actually come on for you. Steven Dos Santos, 7 goals, is available today coming off of the bench. You've also got some quality players. Jake Arman, we have seen him in this league. He is a vetted veteran among several other guys that can come in for Tampa Bay. For Memphis, you've got Chris Allen that is still available coming in off of the bench this afternoon. You've got Lucas Turchi who can give you a few moments, and then depending on the score, you got a couple of sequoias in Zach Carroll and Niall Logue that can help park the bus. But again, at some point, some of these guys are going to be getting tired. Some tactical moves will have to be made, and it's high-stakes poker.
What I think you're going to see, you mentioned Justin Dos Santos. I think he's going to come on to start this second half. I saw him. He's getting stripped now, and he will be. Yes, in fact, he will be coming on for LaCava, and that. I kind of guessed that they'd make a substitution like that. Jake LaCava is going to be out, Justin Dos Santos in. They had to find some sharpness about their play, and they had to find a little more of a focal point in the way that they played. So I'm not surprised to see Neil Collins shake it up after that first half. They needed to do something, and LaCava wasn't really getting it done. This will allow them another focal point to be able to work through and to try to kind of hang on to the ball a bit.
Memphis, well, Ben Pierman will tell you, Memphis is exactly who you think they are. They will try to come out and just impose their will on you. You're not going to see a lot of sleight of hand. Tampa has some moving pieces. They can change some formations, some positioning, some subtle things, and that's going to be it's a good point you bring up. Let's watch and see where Dos Santos roams on the pitch and see if that makes a difference in who he might team up with in that attack for Tampa Bay Rowdies. We are just about set with Elvis Garcia ready to blow the whistle for the second half, and we are underway. Tampa Bay, of course, in the whites, moving left to right, and here we go. Tim Van Horn and Peter Edmiston with you here for the start of the second half of this Eastern Conference semifinal. So Dos Santos is in for LaCava.
Yeah, Dos Santos, we talked about him coming onto the pitch, and you can immediately see he's coming out right as a center forward and trying to use a big body. He's a big guy, big target. And I think Tampa Bay's going to simplify things a little bit in terms of the way that they approach it. Rather than try to play through in midfield, I think they're going to try to go a little bit over the top and establish that focal point there, work through a target man in order to make a little more of the chances that they're going to try to create.
Seegers looking to play long ball with Philip Goodrum that goes up wide for a throw for Tampa Bay. But there are some pieces that Collins can move around for Tampa. We've seen it all year long. Now here's a ball out wide. Derek Dotson marking up, shots deflected. Then we've got a foul. That's going to be, I believe that's going to be against Guillen.
Well, immediately it was a fabulous first-time ball from Dos Santos over to Gonzatti, who was in some space. I think it caught Graham Smith a little bit off guard, how quickly that ball was. Tampa Bay was very labored in all their build-up. All their play was very slow. They need to speed things up. There are opportunities if they do that. For 901 FC, presumably you're going to be facing a much more intense Tampa Bay side. I would have to think so. So they're going to have to be much sharper in their passing, especially on this end of the pitch.
Derek Dodson. Or Fernando looks for a cutting pass on the inside to Kisiedu. Can't find him, though.
That's the example of what I'm talking about. That pass just not too sharp from Fernando, who's getting in good positions, but he's got to take advantage of it.
Can't watch the match? Turn on SiriusXM FC 157, North America's only 24/7 source for engaging soccer talk, including USL All Access Tuesday nights at 7 Eastern. Plus, hear live matches from the USL, MLS, English Premier League, and more, all on SiriusXM FC 157 and the SXM app. Of course, legendary Tampa Bay Rowdy player Rodney Marsh. Every morning, grumpy pundits.
Probably grumpy after watching that first half, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think a lot of folks might be. I think folks looking for a couple more opportunities on both sides of the ball here. Over the top, looking for Connor Antley. Is able to settle it down, looking for Fernandez, and then Goodrum comes from behind with a foul on Lawrence Wyke, and Tampa Bay will restart very quickly. Yellow cards in the first half for Tampa Bay. Guillen with a yellow card in the 29th minute. Ben Pearman with one a moment earlier, and that's about it. That's about the only significant things we have marked in the book. So look at Trey Muse. Memphis has consistently had some terrific goalkeepers in its franchise history. Here's a big switch over to the far side. Lewis Hilton will corral that. Now Guillen looking for a probing ball, or rather Dahlgaard. And now Nicky Law. Good pressure by Aaron Malloy, but now a penetrating run by Wyke. Looks for a big switch for Dahlgaard. Dahlgaard double teamed. He'll release it out to Guillen, but he'll get it right back. And now Memphis pushing their line out, and they'll force Tampa into their own half.
But this is the longest spell of possession Tampa Bay's had the ball at any point in this match.
Here comes Lewis Hilton. There's a layoff that's deflected by Dodson, and now Kisiedu comes out. Does Memphis have the numbers to break? Kisiedu will just take it himself for the time being and cut to the inside where he's got Aaron Malloy. Over to Jeremy Kelly. This is a guy whose name we haven't called a whole lot. Ball into the box. That's going to be easily corralled by Brino. He's looking for Goodrum. That was had a little too much barbecue sauce on that one.
Well, and this is the match has changed a little bit with the switch that Tampa Bay has put on there. You can see that Dos Santos, they are pushing players up a little further up the pitch, trying to establish themselves in 901 FC's third of the pitch, and it's working. They're able to get a little more control of this match, and I think 901 FC going to have to make a few adjustments of their own.
Leo Fernandez. A lot of touches, but far away from the goal so far this afternoon, and also wide of the goal. Here's Philip Goodrum. He gives as he gets, and that's going to be a throw for Memphis. And now we're going to have a yellow card to Philip Goodrum, as fourth official Matt Thompson says give him a yellow card for the push on Wyke as the ball was out of bounds.
Edson Garcia saying he gave him a shoulder barge, which to this point, legal. They didn't call a foul there. And then that right there, now that's some silliness, honestly.
But Wyke kind of asked for it too.
Oh, no. I mean, from Wyke's perspective, like he's clearly exaggerating that. I mean, he played the ball behind Goodrum to try to slow things down. Goodrum reached for it, got a little shoulder to the gut. I mean, this game's starting to get a little chippy. Which makes sense. I mean, there's a lot on the line for both these teams, but there's some silliness that's being mixed in there too. First half, we saw Hilton try to draw a card on, I think it was Laurent Kisiedu, claiming that he flailed out with his hand, and I don't think he was anywhere near him. It's stuff like that. We don't need to see that sort of simulation.
It's a chipped pass into Goodrum from Leston Paul, but that's easily stripped and cleared. Looking for, and that is the definition of a target man. Dos Santos, that's a big drink of water right there.
Well, you can just see that, again, physically, he's trying to bully the smaller defensive group. Makes perfect sense. Now we've got another stoppage of play. Getting a little chippy.
It's kind of interesting because Memphis saw the throw went to Tampa. They threw it in, and the officials let them play for about 5 or 6 seconds. Like, oh yeah, wrong team.
Well, you can get away with it.
Apparently, delay of restart is not on the books for getting called today. But they're missing it equally.
I'm fine with that, honestly. Yeah. But let's see how things go.
Ball over the top. Looking for Dahlgaard, but Graham Smith able to clear. Now Memphis will press just one with Goodrum. Little token pressure now by Fernandez to Dos Santos. Settled down by Guillen on the far side. He's got some room to work with. Drop it all the way back to Phil Brino. Going route one, looking for Nicky Law. Reese Buckmaster joins him in the corner. Pops back to Connor Antley, who goes into the box looking for Dos Santos, a little low. And now here comes Kisiedu to Jeremy Kelly. If he cuts to the middle, he's got space. He does. He's looking for Goodrum. That ball is deflected off of a Tampa Bay Rowdy and a one-timer. Blazes over the bar. Memphis almost caught a massive break on an unfortunate bounce for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Well, he snatched at that one a little bit, taking it off the short hop, Philip Goodrum, but that was the only way he was going to be able to get a shot off, so a smart idea to try to do it. Look at the little short hop up moink and trying to catch it quickly. That is an exceedingly difficult skill, and he couldn't quite pull it off, but you like the idea behind it, certainly.
Memphis will walk it up. Malloy looked for Fernando on the far side, decided better to just go short to Patrick Segrist. Now Derek Dotson lays a pass on the floor to Fernando. Nicely picked off by Guinzotti. But not much room for Tampa Bay. Memphis is just not letting them run a break here.
Well, but I think Tampa's okay, honestly, with that. With Dos Santos in there now, I think they're going to kind of try to play over the top and play it quickly. To go back to that pass, though, it's a lot of just harmless possession. And if you're going to keep the ball, you're going to have to make 2 or 3 really good passes in a row.
Here's Luis Fernando on the wing with Guillen. Right-footed cross in, that's deflected, and it's out for another Celtic crossing corner kick here in the 56th minute. 0-0. Stakes are high. Winner goes to Louisville for the conference final. And Fernando, the man who made the run, sets up alongside Malloy. Now, whatever they did last time, that did not work well. Let's see if they try a little something different here. You've got Goodrum in the box, Kisiedu in the box. This one comes in to the backside of the 6. Graham Smith able to get a piece of it, but that one's going to go backwards, and Memphis is going to have to clear out of the box and reset as Tampa pushes them back into their own half. But here comes Memphis again. Malloy. Nicely cushioned down by Nicky Law, though. Tampa Bay trying to get some movement here, and down goes a Rowdy at midfield. Are we going to have a foul called? And I'm not sure what Elton Garcia is gesturing.
I think he's. It looks to me, if I can interpret this official correctly, it seems as though the players were asking for a card, and what he's saying is there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 defenders back, that it wasn't a dangerous situation. I think they wanted a card to say that it was a scoring opportunity that you were giving up, and he's saying no, you were back. These guys were back.
I think we call that a dog-so, denial of goal scoring opportunity.
So I think he was saying that's why I'm not getting a card out there.
Of the red variety, at least.
Well, of the or the yellow for that. I think they just wanted a yellow.
There's a ball chipped into Dos Santos. Handball possibly off the post. It's alive, and now they do call the handball.
Wow. Break there for sure. Good opportunity for Tampa, and it was a handball. No question about it from Dos Santos, but that big body is causing a lot of difficulty in the box for sure. Memphis 901 FC getting away with one there.
Yeah, here's another look at it. Up, and
there it is,
it's
right
under
there.
the arm.
Yeah.
Yep. And not only that, but it came down to him, so he gained an advantage off of that. So
well, for sure. I mean, it was most assuredly a handball, but another warning sign. This tactical switch that Tampa Bay has pulled off is doing some damage. They've gained more control of this match for sure. They're putting themselves in more dangerous positions than 901 FC expected, and now the question is, how does 901 FC respond?
Ball chested down, but Aaron Malloy was the first to it. Now Memphis back into the attacking third, looking to build. Leston Paul, a short ball to Derek Dodson. Malloy looking for Fernando. He's going to be called offside.
And Fernando doesn't need to be caught offside in that situation, because that was a really sharp pass from Malloy, very quick. And Fernando needs to be aware of where that line is. He can look right down the line. He's on the end. That's one where you need your attacking player to be a little more heads up.
59th minute. Here's another look. Yeah, he started and then tried to come back. It's an excellent call by the assistant referee. Definitely offside. And we're still waiting for the restart. Apparently they got a 5-yard walk-up on this one as well. Back underway, AutoZone Park. 0-0. Eastern Conference semifinal. There's a ball rolled off of Derek Dodson. Quick throw for the Rowdies. Kept alive by Dahlgaard. Dos Santos near the top of the box. It comes down for him. He's able to get a touch, but only until Graham Smith can get it to Dodson. And now Memphis trying to break the lines. Quickly do so. Kisiedu has room if he can get there. Now to Philip Goodrum. Goodrum on the right side. He has Kelly streaking to the middle. A layoff for Kisiedu. He'll turn, look for Jeremy Kelly. He finds him, but good team defense from Tampa Bay. And they're able to clear it up to Dos Santos.
It's another handball. I think they're going to call that. Dos Santos' hands are getting a little too
handsy.
Too active, I was going to say, but handsy is a perfect way to put it. You're exactly right about that. Now this is very much a 50-50 type game. Now we're seeing both teams creating pretty decent opportunities. It's definitely a back and forth contest. I think Tampa Bay has really entered the battle at this point now. They're asking a few questions, and 901 FC is asking a few questions of their own.
All right, back to action near side. Well, here's a look at that foul. Again, now back to live action. Ball trickles in harmlessly to Phil Brino. As Goodrum will give chase. Memphis 901 FC now sending a couple up for high pressure, and that's another error. Good job by Memphis forcing another throw in.
Well, that's why you do it. That's why you press. 901 FC's pretty high pressing team, and that's you want to force those mistakes.
Leston Paul with a diagonal into Kelly. He's onside. Right footed shot, and it goes just to the right of Reno's upright and out for a goal kick. And the little wedge shot by Leston Paul nearly flipped the game on its head.
That was a beautiful pass. It was a beautiful pass, and I think that may well have come off the defender.
Was that off of White?
It looked like it might have come off of White. Yeah, if you look right here, I think he got the last touch on it. It's a great bit of last-ditch defending to keep Kelly from being able to get that on goal. But what a brilliant pass from Leston Paul. My goodness, perfect timing on that.
Another attempted wedge shot, this time well read by Tampa. Now here come the Rowdies. Rowdies down the left side. side of the box. There's a shot that is deflected, and that'll be out for a Tampa corner as Sebastian Guenzati, a name we have not called a lot in the second half, gets involved here, and a threat for Tampa Bay.
Good defending. Derek Dodson again getting out there and getting a boot to it, putting it out of play.
He had to get that just right, didn't he?
Timing was very important. You don't, whenever you go down in the box like that, you take a little bit of a risk, but he had that well under control. But now another corner for Tampa and another chance for the Rowdies, who are growing into this match as time goes on.
Nicky Law serving this up. That's going to be the far side of the 18, headed down, volleyed away by Smith near the top of the box, and then finally cleared out by Malloy, and Memphis can breathe a sigh of relief, get off of their line, and reset. It'll be a throw, though, for Tampa Bay.
That's a break for 901 FC, because Wyke, that was a well-designed corner maneuver. Wyke headed it right into the mixer, and real credit to Graham Smith for seeing that just a bit early, because that was a terrific header and a dangerous one.
60-40 possession in this match. It was all 901 FC the first 20 minutes or so, but Tampa slowly but surely getting a little bit of a foothold. And Derek Dodson with a clearance looking for Goodrum, can't find him. And now Nicky Law will look to advance for the Rowdies. Here's Guenzati. Guenzati knocks it down for Fernandez, and that is going to harmlessly trickle out for a goal kick. A spot in the finals on the line when the USL Championship playoffs presented by Hisense continues on Saturday, November 5th. Who will take their next step to earning a star? Find out November 5th and 6th on ESPN+. And did that go off of Segrist? It doesn't look like it did.
No, that was a bit of a shank from Leo Fernandez.
Leo Fernandez, 19 goals, 9 assists on the season. The 20th would be huge for Tampa Bay. Trey Muse, a name we have not called frequently, clears it down. Gian. Now settled down nicely by Dahlgaard. He'll take a look at the wing. Tries to get by Dodson. Dodson and he are jockeying. Was there a push in the back? There was. I think they're going to call a push on Sebastian Dahlgaard here. I haven't seen a signal yet, but
Yeah, it's on Dahlgaard, and he's getting a stern lecture from referee Elton Garcia.
Or has he let this go for a goal kick?
No, I think that's a foul. It's just... it's a foul, because if it wasn't a foul, it'd be a corner, because it came off Dodson. But no, that's a foul, and rightly so. I think you're seeing the physicality start to amp up in the second half, Tim, but again, Dodson doing everything just right, taking care of business, doing what he needs to do for this team. He's being asked to do a lot of different stuff. Not a lot of guys are asked to do as many different types of things as Dodson is.
Head coach Ben Pierman for Memphis 901 FC. He has his full complement of substitutions to use. It's a high-stakes game, no doubt, here this afternoon. So, question will be who will come in and win, because there's so many permutations, especially at 0-0. If you've, as you know, if you've seen any of the USL Championship playoffs this weekend, if it's tied after 90 minutes, it's 2 15-minute periods of added of extra time, and then kicks from the mark after that. So use your subs wisely.
Well, and again, for 901 FC, it's been, historically they've kind of had to manage a smaller squad throughout the course of the season. You've seen some guys rested as much as you can. You've seen some switches and changes made, but at this point in the season, there's none of that. There's no roster management or anything like that. It's just you play the best you can play as much as you can play them, because you lose, and that's the end of your season.
This match indicative of how the season went between these two. Memphis winning here in the regular season back on April 27th, 3-1. Tampa getting a clean sheet at home against Memphis on July 2nd, 2-0. We're at 0-0 here.
Well, the Rowdies have said, I don't think they're trying to necessarily discount 901 FC, but they said that came on That loss in Memphis came as the fourth of a 11-day sequence of matches. We had 4 matches in 11 days. That was the 4th one. There were some injuries and some tiredness and all that. So
there's a steal by Jeremy Kelly. Kisiedu at the top of the box. Holds off on the shot, then takes one and it flies wide. And it'll be a goal kick as Kisiedu created his own opportunity. And that one blazes just wide of Reno's goalpost. And Tampa Bay breathing a sigh of relief. Another great look here from Kisiedu.
Yeah, giveaway, and Kisiedu did a great job of hanging on to it as best he could. It took a deflection. I don't think that was accounted for by the official. Kisiedu did his best and hung on. Was able to keep that ball going, ride those challenges. Good shot, just not on goal.
And there's a nudge in the back. I think that will be a free kick to Memphis. Of course, Kisiedu, we mentioned. You see Philip Goodrum there with 22 goals, but Kisiedu, 7 goals, 5 assists, which is pretty impressive for a guy that has his high spots, and then sometimes he'll surprise you at maybe missing some of the easy ones. 7 goals, 5 assists. I mean, that's a pretty complete performance. He gives as well as he gets.
Well, he missed a fair bit of time too with injury early in the season, and then kind of came back a little bit slowly from that injury. So yeah, I think he's fully back now and recovered. These teams, by the way, no shots on goal as of yet. Neither one has tested the goalkeeper.
And it looks like Memphis will make their first substitution of the afternoon, as looks like Luis Fernando, of course, did not play last week. Memphis will say goodbye to him and make way for Dylan Borchek this afternoon.
This will be a like-for-like switch. You would imagine Borchek should kind of slot in right along that right side where Fernando had been playing, and this again gives you a little bit of life, a few legs. Be a switch for Tampa Bay, as well as Ekra coming in for Nicky Law, so a switch in their midfield as well. But Borchek should give some fresh legs, and I think Luis Fernando probably was not his best day at the office in terms of the impact that he was able to make.
Borchek on the season, 1 goal in limited action for Memphis 901 FC. He was added to the roster late in the season, and he's in the match now for Memphis. And then you mentioned Jan Ekra now in the game for Nicky Law, coming in for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. And Ekra on the season, 3 assists. So Ben Pearman makes his first move of the match. So ball settled down. Dos Santos is down. Play goes on, and then now Elton Garcia stops play, as it looks like he took a shot to the back or the top of his head. Leston Paul checking on him, and of course, athletic training staff for Tampa Bay will come. Here's another look at that. It looks like perhaps a head into the back. It looks like maybe Graham Smith, and he bumps noggins, and he got the worst of it.
That does happen for forwards, especially those that play in the style of Dos Santos. Big, physical, rugged. You're going to crack your dome a time or two. Looks like he's going to be okay, but yeah, I think Graham Smith got that arm up a little bit on the jump. It's always a challenge because when you jump, you naturally kind of use your arms to lift you up off the ground, but when you get those arms up like that, it also can end up kind of causing some problems for those around you with those elbows. Got to be careful, but looks like he's going to be okay. It's a bad break for Tampa Bay in the sense that that stoppage takes away a little bit of the verve of what was a decent attack for them.
Athletic trainer Eric Strike, looks like he's got Dos Santos ready to come back on momentarily. We'll have a drop. Now the question is, does it go to Memphis or to Tampa? I believe Tampa still had possession.
Yeah, Tampa had possession, so it should go to them, and they should just be able to take it from there, which they will.
They'll take the drop. Memphis Resets, and Dos Santos on immediately. Here comes a ball down the near side, looking for Leo Fernandez. It does stay in. Back into the box. It's going to have to be headed away and out by Graham Smith. Trey Muse not able to get there in time. That was a slow bouncer. It's a smart play by Graham Smith, as it did look like Dahlgaard was coming screaming in from the left side to pick that off if he could.
Yeah, you just want to be sure. My guess is Muse probably could have gotten there, but you don't know for sure, and no need to take a chance on that one.
Big throw by Connor Antley into the middle of the box, and then Borchek, first touch is a true one. Memphis able to get out and re-clear their lines. Now Borchek with a header. And Castellanos sends it back to the Tampa keeper. 73rd minute, no score. And a foul by Jeremy Kelly. No malice there. I think it was just a good move trying to come out of the back. Kelly knew
he got beat. This is both these two teams. They're playing like two teams that know what's at stake. You could sense this one has a little bit of a cup final feel to it, where no one wants to make that big mistake. Everyone's playing a little bit edgy right now. You're not seeing the absolute best from both these teams, because I think they're both trying to make sure they don't do the wrong thing, and when you're kind of thinking about it too much, sometimes it can lead to this sort of a match. It's a pretty cautious match so far.
Dos Santos with the layoff for Dahlgaard. Good work by Borchek and Dotson, and now chopped down. And now Dahlgaard will go into the book. It'll be the second yellow card issued to the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Dahlgaard, no complaints, walks away immediately. Knows what happened there. He and Dotson have already gotten into a couple of scuffles there, and that one was, there was no doubt about that one. Lashed out with the legs, knew he was beaten. Took that yellow card and walked away. It was one he took for the team.
It's Memphis crowd getting into it this afternoon. This was originally going to be a Saturday evening game, but heavy rains postponed it until today. Not being remiss, we're in the 75th minute now. There's 4 pumpkins sitting on the platform, the dugout of Bluff City Mafia.
Yeah, I believe they say 901, and then something else on the 4th one, which I'm unclear on.
Oh, it's the logo.
Oh, it's the logo.
Nicely done. And apparently taste acquired for alcohol as well, as you can see in the background.
No, not the Bluff City Mafia, never.
Here's a ball over the top, 2 Rowdies coming to it. Nicely done by Trey Muse. Not only did he clear the ball, but he played it to Derek Dotson.
Yeah, that was a very calm bit of goalkeeping right there.
We may look back on that a little bit later on as a critical play here in the 75th minute. Dos Santos now for Dahlgaard. Yeah, my first instinct would have been just rip that into like the 15th row if I could.
But very calm. I mean, he first of all to come out at all, and then to come out and play it to somebody. That's very, very, very tough.
Connor Antley released down the line. Seegers does pick him up, but Dos Santos now about 25 yards out from goal. Here's Ekra with a shot, and that is going to float harmlessly way wide for a goal kick.
They would have preferred that in the other direction, where Ekra is setting up Dos Santos instead of Dos Santos setting up Ekra, given the goal scoring record of both those two teams. But you can see the difference that Dos Santos is making as a focal point of the attack, is able to just get the ball with his back to the goal, lay it off, move into position, get the ball, lay it off, and he's given Tampa Bay a rhythm on offense they did not have before.
Absolutely. A new champion, by the way, will be crowned when the dramatic 2022 season comes to an end. Check out the USL Championship final Sunday, November 13th at 8:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2, ESPN Deportes, and Sirius XM. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty. The winner of this one makes it to the Final Four. They will go to Louisville next weekend for the Eastern Conference Final. Of course, in the West, San Antonio and Colorado Springs will tangle in what should be 2 colossal conference finals next week. And there's an unforced error by Derek Dotson out for a throw, and it looks like a pair of substitutions in the waiting for Tampa Bay. It looks like we'll say goodbye to Sebastian Dahlgaard and say hello to Dayon Harris. He'll come on for the Rowdies here in the 77th minute. Harris on the season, 5 goals, 3 assists. Nothing to sneeze at when you can bring that on in the 77th
Well, he was the
minute.
starter in their quarterfinal matchup against the Miami FC, and the usual starter for that squad. So, yeah, he comes up with quality. And Tampa Bay is certainly the deeper of the two teams. There's more depth in reserve.
Nicely done by Jeremy Kelly. Can Segrist make hay of it? He can. Play on, says the referee. Jeremy Kelly down the left wing. He's got Kisiedu. He's had some magical moments from there before. Malloy to Leston Paul, who's never scored for 901, chips it in. Harmlessly floats out for a goal kick.
Had the right idea, had a diagonal, and he did have Laurent Kisiedu in the mix to receive it. Didn't quite get the right purchase on it. Good idea from 901 FC, and as you get later and later into this match, Tim, I wonder which team is going to be able to play without fear, because you always worry about that one mistake costing you in these kinds of matchups.
There's a push in the back by Guinzotti. He's going to get dinged for that. Graham Smith going down, landing awkwardly, I think.
The team that can play without fear is the one that's going to get it done. But you start to look at that clock and you realize, okay, you're edging closer, 78 minutes, we're getting near the 90, extra time, all that. It just heightens the pressure for certain players. And you kind of get a little tight on some of the ways that you play these passes. Who's going to be able to play free and loose and make that one big play? Because this is the way it should be. These two teams were 1 point apart in the regular season. They were two of the best teams in the entire division. So it makes sense that it's 0-0 with just 12 minutes or so to play in regular time.
Reese Buckmaster called for a foul on Dos Santos. Graham Smith still having an issue with his right middle finger. I don't know if he landed on it poorly or if he was stepped on. But I think he's trying to stop he may be trying to stop the bleeding on that. But nonetheless, we're back underway here at AutoZone Park. Dayon Harris nicely picked up and then chipped ahead by Dodson. Now to Borchek. Here comes Kisiedu. He's got the ball at his feet. He's got a little bit of room. He's got help on a switch, too. He'll switch it over to Jeremy Kelly. That'll hold up play, but Patrick Segrist goes for an overlapping run, but Memphis will slow this down. Memphis has made 1 substitution. We've seen 3. Now 4 come in for Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Well, that sequence is what I'm talking about. You just worry about making that mistake, and so you kind of play it back instead of playing it ahead, and now you got another little chippiness, and here comes another card for Tampa Bay.
That's going to be on Sebastian Guinzotti.
It's heating up. It's heating up. You're going to have to be very careful. Don't want to see that second yellow, but you can see right there just a needless push. And I think that's more of an accumulation of a number of things. Guinzotti, I know Elton Garcia has been in contact and talking to a number of players about what's happened. So I'm not surprised to see that at all. Interesting too that this pause in the action. Ben Pierman and his coaching staff there going over to check on Graham Smith at the moment to see if he's okay. But I think also maybe using this opportunity to chat a little bit about what might need to be done in the next 10 minutes or so.
And the fact that they have called attention to themselves with this now. Will Matthew Thompson, the 4th official, and Elton Garcia, will they force Graham Smith to come off for a moment? And if so, you've just lost your center back.
At the moment, yeah, he's off right now. He's going to be off for this free kick. So, yes, he will not be out there. 901 FC's playing with 10 for this free kick.
So one of your biggest dead ball threats is off, but this is a long way. This is right at the edge of the center circle in the attacking half. Memphis goes down the line to Dodson. Dodson with a centering ball. Is that deflected out? It is. It's going to be another Celtic crossing corner kick for Memphis 901 FC. It will be just their 3rd this afternoon.
Smith coming back out, and he looks to be just fine. Yeah, this is it right here. Comes down to it. Not been the best set pieces from 901 FC today, and I think they're going with simplicity here. Just let Aaron Malloy put it in there. No need to worry about going short with Luis Fernando.
The outswinger near the top of the 6, heads collide, ball stays in the air. Segrist going for it, he will not win it. It'll be Quinzati who gets it, and then heads up play by Jeremy Kelly to bang that off of Dayon Harris for a Memphis throw. So now 901 FC in the 83rd minute, looking to make something happen here.
Tim, I'm saying this, I hope I'm wrong, and I'm saying this maybe to jinx myself, so forgive me.
Choose your next few words very carefully.
This thing smells like a 0-0 going to penalties. These two teams have yet to put a shot on target. They're playing, I mean, they're very evenly matched. I would love to be wrong, but this one just feels so tight right now. It's just a tight, both teams playing tight, feels tight.
I'm not sure who you've angered more, those who don't want to draw or those referees out there that it's kicks from the mark. It's kicks from the mark. Here's Philip Goodrum. The ball is deflected. Goodrum again, a second bite at the apple, deflected. And then finally cleared off the line by Jordan Scarlett. And then the ball trickles back in.
Another decent opportunity there that was handled from Tampa Bay's perspective. You see a nice little cutback, left-footed shot, and again another opportunity, but both times deflected. And again, both just still yet to test the keeper.
Now Dos Santos. Trey Muse will win that race though, and now he's looking for an outlet, and he'll move quickly to Aaron Malloy. So a couple of chances there, but again, Tampa Bay just smothering.
I want to be wrong. I want you to know that. I'm not doing this because I want to be right. I'm doing this because I want to be wrong. I'm trying to jinx myself here.
And by the way, I don't care if you call it penalties, kicks in the spot, or whatever, but it's the same people that will get you on daylight savings.
It's penalties.
It's all good with me.
What on earth are we talking about? It's penalties. I don't understand.
Here's Goodrum trying to get the inside track. Almost does. He stood up by White, though. That's good shoulder-to-shoulder work by Lawrence White. But stolen by Malloy. Malloy with a shot and a beautiful outstretched save by Brino. And he knows he may have just saved the game for the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Well, he hadn't had much to do, but then he had everything to do, and he did it beautifully. As Malloy struck one, fell perfectly, and we know he can hit them from this range. Curled it in, and to his left, Brino made a terrific save.
Another Celtic crossing corner kick as a result of great play by Phil Brino.
As first saves go, that's a pretty good one.
.901 FC loading up the top of the 18. Only Jeremy Kelly inside, and now they all march up in unison. This is an interesting ploy with only Dylan Borchek. Now he swaps out with Kelly in swinger, and that is going to be called out for a goal kick. It crossed the line and went out.
Tried to whip it in a little too much, unfortunately. What a terrific save, though, and Malloy, he struck that, and he must have thought off his boot that was going into the back of the net. He must have thought that was going to be the goal that would likely take 901 FC into the conference finals, but Phil Brino did not want that to happen and made a terrific save.
I don't care what level you're at. When you're an athlete that knows they just saved the game and they're pumped about it, I mean, that's good television right there. That was a terrific save by Brino. Smart play by Borchek, letting that run out. We're in the 86th minute. Tim Van Horn, Peter Edmiston, AutoZone Park. It is the Eastern Conference semifinal matchup of Memphis 901 FC against the Tampa Bay Rowdies. Here's Reeks Buckmaster taking on Dos Santos. Not a fair height matchup, but skill-wise worked out well this time for Buckmaster. Skip pass through to Malloy. He's got some room, but now he's quickly smothered by Jan Ekra. Here's Borchek. turns back, but then turns forward again, and that is knocked down, played well by Guillen. Guillen along his end line, and then a good sliding challenge by Borchek to keep Tampa Bay pinned into their own third. Borchek late to the scene for Memphis 901 FC, but has been very solid and a very physical player. He's been of good value to head coach Ben Pearman.
Well, and again, he's providing that extra bit of spark in replacing Luis Fernando in doing so, and I think he's added a little something to this match for 901 FC along that right side.
Here's Reese Buckmaster to Patrick Segrist. Outside of the boot, played a little too heavy for Segrist, and there's Jordan Scarlett. Good stop turn, buys him some space and just a little bit of time to be able to clear that out, but good play. Here comes the goalkeeper again. Trey Muse, first touch didn't clear, and he's like, well, I better whack this one, and he did, and he's got to get back on his line in a hurry.
He's taking a little tip from Manuel Neuer and playing the sweeper keeper to probably a little bit of a concerning degree from Ben Pearman.
I think Ben Pearman, I don't think, could watch that second touch. I think he turns like,
you shouldn't.
I don't know.
You're a former keeper yourself, Tim. You don't want to take that many touches outside the box.
No, you do not. Here's Leo Fernandez. He picked that up from Wyke and will drop it off Memphis. Good pressure. Derek Dotson. Good job on the far sideline. 89th minute. We'll have a few minutes of Miller Lite stoppage time for sure, because we've had several substitutions in this match, plus a couple of yellow cards. Ben Pearman helping with a quick restart. Is there magic in the final moments of this Eastern Conference semifinal? Recent history in the USL Championship says no, but that's why they play them on the field. Both of last night's matches went into extra time, and one even went to the shootout. And not much separating these two clubs right now. Possession 60-40 for Memphis.
Well, it's been, since really in the second half, it's been a completely even game. Both teams have had some decent opportunities. The only real sharp, super excellent opportunity was that of Aaron Malloy at the end that was saved so well by Brino. There was the chance that Dos Santos had for Tampa Bay when he was judged to rightly judged to have handled the ball. But other than that, it's been fits and starts, nothing too sharp.
I think Borchek might have had the wind knocked out of him. Or do we have a cramp here? Here's another look at what happened.
Oh, I don't think that's the wind. I don't think that's the wind knocked out of him, Tim.
Yeah. Borchek, though, he's up, limping a little bit. He'll be fine.
I would certainly limp. Limping would be the least thing I would do.
An uncontested drop for Tampa Bay, and we're back underway. And Borchek's been beckoned back onto the pitch. He's good to go. And let's see how much Miller Lite stoppage time. And Matt Thompson, the fourth official, indicates there will be a minimum of 4 minutes of Miller Lite stoppage time here at AutoZone Park.
Make some magic. I'm already on record with my prediction. I hope is wrong, but I'd love to see some stoppage time magic here to win a conference semifinal.
I think both of these clubs would love to wrap this up in the next few minutes if they could. Stripped away by Tampa. Dos Santos making a run through the channel. That's picked out by Leston Paul and then cleared out by Graham Smith. Well done, but only as far as Jan Ekra. Now Lawrence Wyke looking for help down the near side. He's got Dayon Harris, who came in about 15 minutes ago. Centering ball headed out, but only to the top of the box. Will there be a shot in the works? No. Lifted in and then headed easily out by Graham Smith. I would have thought that Ekra would have had a go from 18.
Well, he already tried once and lifted it way into the Bluff City Mafia. Maybe that was on his mind when he tried it again. Really good work from Buckmaster. That cross was a dangerous one that he dealt with.
Here's Dos Santos. Stripped away by Aaron Malloy. Now Borchek looking for Goodrum. That ball's going to trickle out of bounds for a throw. Hey, are you ready to get messy? Leo Messi and Hard Rock Cafe have teamed up to create a winning combo. Experience the taste of victory. Smashed burgers with savory Spanish-style chorizo and signature sauce, available for a limited time at the Hard Rock Cafe on historic Beale Street. If you've ever been to AutoZone Park, it's just a quick walk over there and check out the Hard Rock Cafe. You'll be glad that you did. We're into almost the 3rd minute here of Miller Lite stoppage time. 4 is what's been indicated. And there's a look at Aaron Guillen. He's had a solid afternoon. And Ben Pierman, what's going through his mind here? If he can get into extra time, he still has a handful of subs remaining to use over that 30 minutes plus. And now a man down in the box. And what do we have? Do we have a penalty?
Oh my.
What has Jordan Scarlett done?
A colossal mental mistake from Jordan Scarlett there. Holy moly.
Oh, goodness. And Elton Garcia indicates he knows what went down here. In the box, oh, you can't do that once the arms go up. You have opened yourself up to criticism. Let's take a look again, and yes, the arms go up. Now, the assistant referee did not call it. It was the referee that made that call. Now, who wants the ball here in the 94th minute?
It's Aaron Malloy.
Wouldn't you know it? And look at this cutting figure here as you have Phil Brino standing in front of Malloy. Malloy now at the spot.
It was, that is just a phenomenally dumb play from Jordan Scarlett. There is no excuse. There is no doubt about it. There's more cards that are coming because there's all the criticism and everyone's fighting for it. But if you watch, this is a foul all day long outside the box. So inside the box, that's a foul. And when you have a foul inside the box, it's a penalty. There's no doubt about it. Now, it's a horrendously inopportune time to do it. It makes no sense. And Jordan Scarlett, when he goes back and watches, and I'm sure Neil Collins goes back and watches, that kind of thing, if that costs you your season, my goodness.
Phil Brino just moments ago made a magnificent save. Hearts are pounding down there. Brino looks like he's ready to take this penalty from Aaron Malloy, who is a master at placing the ball. Coming up from Forward Madison, a great season in USL Championship. Here's Malloy. The walk-up. Saved by Brino! Oh, my! An incredible save. Here's the walk-up from Malloy. He goes across his body to his left. And Brino has his left foot on the line. A terrific save. And now we have a Celtic crossing corner kick on yet another match-saving play. Brino clears the corner kick. And now we've got a foul against Memphis here in the 96th minute of play.
Well, Aaron Malloy is going to be seeing Phil Brino in his nightmares after great save from free play on an 18-yard attempt, and then this one from 12, an even better save. And Jordan Scarlett is going to have to take Phil Brino somewhere and buy him a lot of food, a lot of drink, because he just saved him in terms of his career and his team.
The ball was at a good height for Brino to save, but he still had to make the proper guess, and he had to stay anchored to the line until the ball was struck. Now here comes Tampa, and a man goes down. Now we got a contact in the box. Now Trey Muse, has he been called for a penalty?
Yep, penalty.
In the 97th minute, we go from one penalty spot to the other. A potential penalty call in the box seconds before, and now Hilton Garcia has pointed to the spot in the 97th minute, and we're right on the verge of chaos here.
Yeah, Hilton has already been in the mix, trying to start stuff for a lot of this game, and he's trying it again here at the end. But this was a penalty. You see right there, no doubt about it. Trey Muse, that ball, he got first touch on it, did Harris, got it away.
And now we're about to have a slew of yellow cards. And these are coming fast and furiously. Now, are they calling it on the first foul, or are they calling it on Trey Muse?
No, I think they're calling it on Trey Muse. That was when he whistled. Muse caught his leg as he dragged it across him. I don't think the first foul was called. I think it was that second one where Garcia came in. You'd have to look at it again and be sure when Garcia came in, but I think it was on Muse.
So now here's what we're looking at in the 98th minute with 4 minutes of Miller Lite stoppage time. Leo Fernandez, with 19 goals, 9 assists on the season, faces Trey Muse when just 2 minutes ago, Memphis could have ended this match with a penalty kick, a brilliant save from Phil Brino. This would be for the win for Tampa Bay. Surely there is not a follow-up play after this. Trey Muse is on his line. Leo Fernandez lines up over the ball. 99th minute. Who's going to Louisville? Shot and a goal. Tampa scores. Leo Fernandez. His 20th goal on the season. And surely the Tampa Bay Rowdies are headed to Louisville. Unbelievable stoppage time.
Heartbreak in Bluff City. Great penalty. Sent Trey Muse the wrong way. Gave him the eyes, and Muse jumped early. Made it pretty simple in the end for Leo Fernandez to put that in the back of the net. Quick substitution coming for 901 FC to try to get something out of this match, but I don't know how much time is left after that, if any. It is a heartbreak to be sure.
How much time could possibly be left? Aaron Malloy, the Hail Mary, it is blocked by Dos Santos. It stays in bounds. The more it bounces, the more the clock runs. We're into the 100th minute of this Eastern Conference semifinal. Here comes Dayon Harris. He's taken down by Leston Paul. He'll get a yellow. I don't think he cares at this point.
Now, it's a shame to get that's the last thing you need, because this will allow even more time to drip away, but it's desperation time at this point for 901 FC. What a heartbreaking, gut-churning way this match is seemingly ended. Ugh. The sport can be incredibly cruel.
Ben Pierman hoping against hope that there is some sort of counterattack in the cards here. That's all they can hope for. Lewis Hilton stands over the ball. Sebastian Guinzani. And do you just play this short, or do you play it wide? They'll play it to Dos Santos, plays it wide, knocked down by Leston Paul. Aaron Malloy just has to bang it, and that is going to do it. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, Phil Brino, 2 massive saves, possibly career-defining saves, and a 98th minute penalty kick scored by Leo Fernandez, and the Tampa Bay Rowdies avoid death in the 96th minute and claim victory over 901 FC 1-0. They will go to Louisville to face Louisville City in the Eastern Conference Finals next week. Oh my, you never turn away an added time. Peter.
It's hard to even comprehend what we just saw in the last 10 minutes. Tim, we'll have to take a break and figure that out, because I'm still a little shell-shocked by what just happened with these penalties. Incredible.
There's the finisher. Leo Fernandez puts the dagger in Memphis. 901 FC, your final score, 1-0. We'll wrap it up coming up next.
So I stopped in at Chick-fil-A for lunch and saw Officer Wilson come in. I decided to place a dine-in mobile order and have a cookie delivered to him just to show appreciation for his service for our community.
A few minutes later, I noticed that Officer Wilson had gotten up and left, and I knew he hadn't gotten his cookie yet.
I'm headed to my car. I turn around and I see Allie, and she's running after me.
Mr. Police Officer, Mr. Police Officer.
Usually when someone yells officer, officer, they want to ask me about a ticket they got. I absolutely wanted the cookie. This cookie is delicious.
I know Memphis in the Mid-South. In my 40-plus years at Action News 5, I've covered it all. And that helps me take action for you when you need it most.
Watch Joe Burridge, weeknights, only on Action News 5.
My first love? Sports. You name it, I've played it or covered it for more than 40 years. There's nothing like highlighting hometown teams every night.
Jarvis Greer, taking action for you, only on Action News 5.
Weather never stops, and neither do we. We've got the team and the technology to be your first alert to the Mid-South's ever-changing conditions. Taking action for you. First Alert Weather, only on Action News 5.
Action News 5 Plus is everything you love about Action News 5, plus a whole lot more.
Getting the 5-star treatment.
Watch original sports programming, live sporting events, entertainment program.
It's an adrenaline-filled adventure.
And the very best of the Action News 5's news team.
Forget the gimmicks. We have some tips that really work.
Action News 5 Plus. Tune your antenna to channel 5.5 or call your cable or satellite provider and ask them to add Action News 5 Plus.
And it's a happy finish for the visitors as the Tampa Bay Rowdies in the 99th minute, a penalty conversion by Leo Fernandez. That's all it takes as this match separated by very little. Two terrific saves by Phil Brino. You see the goalkeeper there. One on the penalty stop on the other guy there, Aaron Malloy. 1-0 the final. Hearts broken in Memphis. Tampa Bay lives to fight another day, and boy, did they fight in added time.
I mean, it was just an incredible turn of events. You know, Jordan Scarlett giving up with just an insanely crazy move to give up a penalty for Tampa Bay. It looked like Memphis 901 FC might get the victory, but Aaron Malloy is talking to Brino there.
Two gentlemen right there.
I mean, I like to see that. You really do like to see that.
And there's your final stats.
And Malloy ends up missing, and then Fernandez converts on a penalty on the other end. And in a match that saw a lot of even play, and you can see the stats right there, a lot of even play. XG advantage for 901 FC, the positional advantage for 901 FC for most of the match. But in the end, Tim, it's you got to convert when you have those opportunities. They just couldn't quite do it.
Yeah, and imagine how good these matches were this weekend. I can't wait to see the conference finals and then the USL Championship over the next couple of weeks. It has been a phenomenal season for Ben Pierman and Memphis 901 FC. Neil Collins and the Tampa Bay Rowdies, they move on, and we'll watch very anxiously to see how everything plays out. But Peter, it's been an absolute honor to work with you here in the USL Championship playoffs, and it's been fun. Let's do it again sometime.
Absolutely, and a phenomenal season for Memphis 901 FC, a historic one as well. Brutal way to end it, but what a fantastic campaign it has been.
Yeah, it's been amazing. Some record numbers for individual and team performances. Can't wait to see what's next in 2023, and it's going to have to wait till then. Season's over for Memphis 901 FC then, as they fall today to the Tampa Bay Rowdies by a score of 1-0. An added time, Miller Lite added time goal by Leo Fernandez. There's your difference. For Peter Edmondson and the entire broadcast crew, thank you for letting us be a part of your Sunday afternoon. Don't forget, next weekend it's USL Championship Conference Finals. Don't miss it.
Telecast of the United Soccer League Championship cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League Championship.